Okay. All right. It looks like we're rolling. Yes, we are. Okay. Hi. Greetings, dear Taurus. That's you. Okay. Here you are, Taurus. This is Terra Lumination, and this is your mini generic love and relationship report for August 2018. Singles, you can watch this too if you really want. If you allow for the laws of attraction, you're always radiating energy, kind of like a cell phone in voice mode. So what are you attracting back to you? It's laws of physics. Everything's exactly as it should be. It's simply because it can't be any other way. So this would be like the energy of like what if. We're going to use the Terra Illumination Crucible spread, okay? It's on the understanding that there's you, a significant other, and the third entity, which is the relationship itself. And it is the integrity of the relationship itself which has such an impact on your experience of the relationship here as the individual, Well, a lot of people relate like this, they relate this way as opposed to through the relationship. In a really strong, loving relationship, both parties are very aware of this third entity and they invest in the relationship deliberately to make it strong. This would be the crucible itself. The crucible is a structure that can withstand and endure tremendous stresses and pressures that occur in all relationships, okay, as we intimate and we separate. So yeah, because how we are as individuals puts pressure on the relationship. So you have to deliberately create a relationship that has structure, okay? Now, let's have a look. I'm going to show you some astro doodles from Terra Illumination. I've shared them with everybody. These are just my personal notes for August, and I'm just focusing purely on the calendar moment here for everybody, in particular the eclipse. That is, excuse me, sorry, this is a very highly organized operation, as you can tell here at Terra Illumination. August 2018 for Taurus. The big date is August 11th. It's the new moon eclipse in Leo, and it happens in your 4th house, okay? This is a very simplified chart, and I'm hoping it makes it understandable and visually just about readable for you. So with the eclipses, remember, we just came out of two. The Cancer new moon eclipse, July 12th, and the big, fat, very, very challenging, very stressful Leo Aquarius full moon eclipse on July 27th. So you're coming in for the first 2 weeks of August, like reeling from that eclipse, like ding, eclipses, eclipse away everything that's no longer yours, and eclipses into you the new stuff. It's like going through a spiritual security checkpoint. Okay, there's kind of no going back, like those high security gating systems. It's like an evolutionary step. The eclipses almost like force evolution to happen. And it can be quite uncomfortable if you're not ready for them or if you're not harmonious with them. So for you, Taurus, it's happening here on one of the tough angles, right on the hard angles here. 1, 4, 7, and 10 are the hard angles. So the eclipse energy, you might be feeling it in terms of the foundations of your life, like a deep sense of earthquake here. Leo energy on the 4th house. So forget the Leo energy more. Just think about the fact that it's an eclipse in your 4th house. Think of this: home, family, your safe place, the place where you sleep, your sense of security, your sense of stability and foundations in life, your place of nurture, where you nurture yourself, where you heal yourself, your place of childhood, the foundations of the rest of your life. Everything else is founded on the foundation here. It's your place where there are loved ones. It's a place where that is either stable or not. Some people have very, very shaky foundations in their life, very, very traumatized homes. Some people have very solid homes. Whatever it is with you, Taurus, it is going through an eclipse. So there is going to be a before and an after. You can reinterpret that however you want. But for sure, coming out towards the end of September, you're going to feel very different about your home, your family, your sense of stability and foundations in life. Like a one way, think of it as I call them lifestyle package deals. It's all based on a foundation. One is becoming redundant and obsolete, and a new one is beginning. Okay? So let's just leave it at that for now. I don't want to get too deep into the astrology. This is a tarot channel, and that was just enough, okay, just to get us rolling. Cards are well shuffled in advance, but I like to go to the last second so that you're a witness. Please watch for your sun, moon, and rising, especially if they're all different. Also, please bring in your invisible friends, your spirit guides, your loved ones from beyond the veil who are always there for you. It works so much better when it's by invitation. I mean, they're there, but they love to be consciously, deliberately invited into your life. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, let's just make that happen. That's what we do here at Terra Lumination, for sure. I couldn't do this without my invisible friends with Terra Lumination angels. Thank you. Okay, just polishing off that little refreshment. Here we go. So bless these cards, bless this deck, bless this channel, bless this reading, bless you, dear Taurus. Bless the internet, bless the stage here, bless the computers, bless the cables, bless YouTube, all of it. None of this would happen without that stuff, okay? So here we go. Cards are well shuffled, as you can see. So let's just leave it like that. We're going to cut it up here. Just random, simple, straightforward. Let's see what happens. So this would be the energy that you'd be radiating. Think of yourself like a cell phone. You're always transmitting and receiving energy. And then this would be like, in the singles readings, this would be like, what if? So what are you attracting? But for people who are kind of paired up in chosen relationships, depending on how consciously chosen your relationship might be, we'll see what unfolds here. This would be your energy, Taurus, energy of a significant other that they're radiating over here, deep in the heart and soul of you, deep in the heart and soul of the other, and then here to the core itself, the relationship. So I'm hoping you can see that this is the crucible. The crucible is the structure that we were talking about here. Which would I think of as constitutes the relationship itself. Okay, so the relationship has a structure, identity, meaning, and purpose of its own, above and beyond you, the individual, or the other as the individual. This is like a living thing. This is a living thing. So what's going on here? Let's have a look. Let's put in the a little bit of momentum here. And let's look at the weather, circumstantial energy that's around you, whatever it is, just like the rest of us, Taurus, it's good to make the best of it. You don't want to live at the mercy of circumstance and environment, but just accept it what it is and then go from there. The eclipses, no question about it, have probably been very, very tough on you, Taurus, because of the hard angles. The Leo Aquarius axes combined with the Jupiter opposition and the Uranus ingress into Taurus recently, that effectively has been creating kind of a loose grand square, grand cross. It's probably the most stressful alignment in the heavens when it comes to planets, and it's been on and off. And it's still with us. At least the big eclipse T-square is there. That's the Aquarius Leo Taurus thing. So anyway, let's have a look. What's going on? You've got the Three of Pentacles here. So my feeling is that somebody somewhere out there really, really digs you, really, really appreciates you and understands you and all the work that you do, all the skills, the gifts, the talents, and the wonders that you have. Like, it's time for you, Taurus, to understand that you are recognized, you are appreciated, and deeply, deeply valued. Maybe you don't know by who, what, where, or how, but it's out there. And that wouldn't be happening unless you were radiating that energy yourself. So you must be doing something very deeply, deeply, profoundly good and wholesome that is working for you, and it's starting to show in your environment. When I see the Three of Pentacles like this, I'm thinking very, very long term as well when it comes to relationship dynamics, because the structures in this little story that's held in this picture here, these aren't like prefabricated homes that you put up over a weekend. This is not a caravan or a tent. These kind of structures take a long time to build, design, and manifest. In those days, it would be over lifetimes, and it requires a lot of forethought, conscientiousness, planning, describing goals, ambitions, understanding the weaknesses, building around that, fortifying against the oncoming challenges that everybody knows they're going to endure. Typically how you would build a really good house. Okay, let's have a look here. House. Did you notice how I referenced that? Okay, look, I didn't even know how amazing I was as a tarot reader until I mentioned that. The house, the fourth house, home. Huh, dig it? Do you see what we're doing? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. All right, so enough of that. All right, here we go. What are you radiating here? Whoa! Zing! What's going on with you, Taurus? To me, it looks like you're deep in it, like facing relationship dynamics head on in such a way that might not be very comfortable. In some ways, when the Lovers card comes up here, it's like, especially with the eclipses, it's like being forced into positions of decision. And sometimes people don't want to do that. They want all. They want everything. They want all the good stuff. They don't want to deal with any of the rough stuff. But sometimes life puts us in these situations where we have to make really profound, important decisions. Like, what am I, for example, you could look at it this way. What am I doing, Taurus? Sorry, I'm pretending I'm a Taurus now. What am I doing in regard to my most profound love relationships at the foundations of my life? How is that affecting my home life? How is my relationship affecting my home life? How is my home life affecting my most fundamental relationship and relationships? All of that stuff, I think, is very much in the air right now, deeply, deeply in question, and wondering, like, how far am I willing to go? How far have I come? Uh, what is the blessing here? What is the, because I don't want to say this is like suspended animation, but with this full on in your face that you're radiating coming out of you in August, to me it's very radiant and beautiful and abundant, but it does expose you to the like some of the really, really tough realities of relationship, knowing that sometimes when you like especially when you make chosen relationships where you're prioritizing as opposed to having like a lot of pets, you have a marriage. Okay, so excuse me, I didn't mean pets, but I meant like having, you know, like I have some people, sometimes it's much more enjoyable and satisfying to have deep, close friendships rather than a committed relationship. Because a committed relationship is a specific structure. It's a chosen relationship where everything's on the table. There's nowhere to hide, and you're creating vows, you're creating contracts and codes of conduct that become like basically carved in stone. So it feels to me like these potentials, this energy is like on your plate right now. I'm not going to try and predict the future or steer you in one direction or another, but what I'm sensing is that it's very prominent, that you're very, very aware of like what happens when I'm over here with so and so in this place. What happens if I'm with so and so over here in that place, or a mixture of this and a mixture of that. What if? What? Like, so I feel a very big question here. Nothing good or bad about it. It's just that it's on the table. Like these things are in front of you. So it means these things are having to be pondered, digested, understood, faced full on. What does this all mean? It can put people in a very awkward position when you have this much energy in front of you. Like, are you willing to go? Are you willing to go there? Are you willing to actually go to the one of the most deepest, profound love relationships you can possibly have? Knowing that you're going to be exposed to the very worst of yourself and the other, and that the other is going to be exposed to the very worst and best of yourself too. Can you handle that? Are you willing to go there, or do you want to live a life that is, let's just say, a shadow version of this, or just a very mediocre version, or not even this at all? Okay, it's a decision. Decision. Some people call this the decision card. What are they radiating over here? Oh, look, Taurus, you might be relating with someone who is already there for you, like deeply committed at the soulmate level. It's like, to me, this often triggers the feeling like of a past life soulmate, where they recognize you very deeply and value you and love you, love you very deeply at the soul level, And I don't think they would be radiating this energy unless you were also radiating that energy at this level yourself. So the question is, that's quite scary. Oh, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm a Taurus. And like, I'm realizing I'm radiating all this really profound love energy, profound loving relationship energy, profound potential loving commitment thing, very, very serious. Can I handle this or not? And this wouldn't be happening for you, Taurus, unless there was something equivalent matching for you out there. Okay. And that would be so and so. So you might be very, very lucky, dear Taurus. The question is, who is this? So with the little Six of Cups here, my feeling is that, like, you kind of already know, like you already know that you are deeply loved by this person here, totally deeply loved, like soulmates who've been together in past lives before, and then they appear in this lifetime together, uh, like for real. It's almost like people talk about that a lot on, these like relationship channels and tarot and astrology channels. People that they know they've met before, they've lived with before, had family before, spouses. Maybe they've swapped genders, roles, relationships, identities, whatever it is, parenting, childhood, whatever it might be. But without question, there's that deep, deep, deep soul resonance between oneself and another. So it's very profound, it's very big, and it's very pulsing, and it's quite intimidating because it puts everything on the table. Like, can you handle this, Taurus? Is this, in other words, be careful what you wish for, because kaboom, you've got it. This could be like, this could be almost like what anybody would wish for in a really delicious, in a really, really solid, loving relationship. I mean, just these first three cards alone are really, I feel very good about this for you, Taurus. I know it's happening in the context of eclipses, so it could be very shaky. It could be very, it could be really shaking the foundations of your life, your sense of being on Earth in general. But I think you can handle it. I don't think so. These cards would be here otherwise. What do you? What's coming out here at the soul level? Okay, to me, we had this in another reading. I don't remember, but at the soul level, it's almost like, yeah, yeah, it's about time. Like I see this is very closely aligned with uh, the Mars and Aquarius energy, and that's been going on for some time. But the Mars energy is very much like this to me is like the freedom fighter, the great liberator, the one who's willing to prioritize truth, freedom, liberty, justice, and be willing to call it out. And one of the side effects of the Page of Swords is that sometimes the truth hurts. You know, sometimes like if you are in a situation knowing that you have to make decisions and that eventually it has to be spoken and called out, sometimes when you call things out, yes, it can be very, very liberating for the people who benefit from the truth, but it can be very uncomfortable for people who don't benefit from the truth. Okay, because if, let's say, the absence of truth has allowed things to, let's say, like putter along, continue as if everything's fine, yet but there was something, there were like false altars, so to speak. And then when you call it out, you cut away the altars, and the altars of existence come crashing down. Think of it perhaps as like a mini earthquake over here, and you discover the weaknesses and the flaws in the existing context of home and relationship. And then how does that affect you going forward? Uh, to, like, put it this way, like a relationship has to exist somewhere, and in a very nice way, it would be nice if it existed at the very foundations of your life too. Like when you have composite marriage charts, when the sun here is in a composite marriage chart, this is a really, really good sign, because it makes it a really good solid home type of feel with the relationship. So anyway, going back to the eclipses, the energy of the Aquarius, like you could even call this the Aquarius moon energy that just happened at the end of July, and you're going to have that shaking, 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 like aftershocks for a few weeks until you get to August 11th. Okay, going back to this, August 11th, when there's going to be a lot more apparent to you. And then by the end of August, things will become more clear because the ticking clock will have moved on to here. You'll be coming out the other side of the eclipse over here. All right. Anyway, this kind of huge shakeup. These are kind of like once in a lifetime things here, Taurus. So please allow for that. There's a lot at stake here. There's a lot of love here. And to me, it looks very good and solid, well deserved, well appreciated. Like you are deeply appreciative of them and they are appreciative of you, except that there's a bit of a problem and you know it deep inside here, which is why the energy of decision making is so prominent here. So when the altars do come crashing down, it's important not to, rub it in. It's basically just best to step aside and let nature take its course. And then when the dust settles, rebuild from there. What are they radiating? Let's have a look over here. Okay, with the Queen of Swords here, a lot of people see this as a card of separation. So I've heard people call it the widow card. But I think of it above and beyond that, where they are radiating the healing power of no, like if they have to, which can be very, very hard to do. A lot of people don't want to do that. They'd rather like compromise themselves, compromise a relationship, compromise another person in order to just get by and avoid any serious discomforts in life. My feeling is that they are willing to go to the wall with this relationship dynamic where they're not scared of what happens when the truth is revealed. In fact, it's almost like bring it on. You know what? Just freaking bring it on. It's like it's about time we dealt with this stuff, and it's like, it's about time I guess we dealt with this stuff. It looks like you're the one who's going to have to make the call here. And they're just sitting here basically in their majestic selves, very patiently waiting. It's almost like waiting for you to exercise the healing power of whatever you have to do, like no to this or no to that, and bringing in the good stuff. In other words, very closely aligned with the eclipses, I feel here, the moon and Mars combining perhaps, but the chance to open a gate to a new beginning, again, eclipse energies for themselves, based on much simpler protocols and understandings in a love relationship where there is no room for fakery and BS. The only thing that counts is the simple, raw truth. And sadly, sometimes that, again, like we said earlier, that can hurt. That can be uncomfortable, but the truth is highly desired. It's being invited here. They are inviting the truth. They're not forcing it. They're just making it very apparent by maintaining their integrity as a human being loving and being loved. They already know that they are loved, okay? It's like it's already established, so that's not even an issue. So it's a question of what are you guys going to do now? And a lot of that really lies in your hands, because looks like they're totally ready to go. Like I'm willing to separate from anything and everything that is not mine in order to bring in anything and everything that is mine. Thank you very much. That's kind of brutal. It's a little bit harsh. It puts a lot on the line. It puts a lot of pressure on you, perhaps pressure that you don't want, understandably. Anyway, we all evolve and grow. Let's have a look. What's going on down here? So again, more swords here. My feeling is that this eclipse is going to be kind of awkward, to say the least. Part of it means, to me, it feels like it's about time. It's about time this stuff happened for you and for the other, and the truth is revealed in some way, shape, or form, but it might have to be done in a very, very subtle, stealthy way, so that when the truth is, let's expose, it doesn't turn and doesn't go nuclear. In other words, it's just like you disassemble things. In other words, like the worst thing you could do is blow up the house, blow up the foundations here just by uttering a simple truth. It looks to me like it's much healthier here, and both parties are aware of it, that Uh, certain truths need to come into expression, need to find their way out, eventually, gently over time, being very subtle about it so that you can get through these eclipses in a very, let's say, effective way, very, very shrewd, very effective, very, very stealthy, so that, uh, you know, there's like, you didn't just blow up the whole, block. There is still structure here, and then you can like what's the word, recalibrate the new structure going forward without blowing everything up. Like when they're looking at remodeling houses and stuff, somebody would say, well, let's just bulldoze the whole thing. And then someone says, no, there's a really good set of foundations there and good timbers and good framing. Let's use that and build from around there. And someone else says, yeah, that's a good idea. And then we can put some of this and that in. And so you kind of mix it up. So you get the best of both worlds. That's what I think is going on here. Like collaboration, very steely, very, in some ways, very uncomfortable. Collaboration, open expression of truth that has to be handled very subtly so that things don't blow up. Let's have a look here. What's momentum? Okay. Okay, I'm glad to see this. It looks to me like however this happens, the intentions are good in that basically like love is coming from you to the other. It's inevitable one way, somehow or other. It's just going to be going through this very awkward, very, very, very extremely delicate process here to do with the eclipses. Because it's eclipses too, this could have a really long-term effect. This could go on for months and months and months for this kind of stuff to play out. In other words, just again, like they do with remodeling, rebuilding houses, like you could just get a pile of dynamite and just blow everything up, but that's not going to help anybody. What a lot of contractors do, they'll systematically deconstruct the existing property very, very carefully, keeping anything and everything that's good, salvaging materials that are still have value, and setting them aside, and even using that in the rebuild. Okay, so I'm using that analogy in the description of what's happening here, because all these swords energies are happening in the context of the relationship here. There's a lot of love here between you and the other and you, and there's no question that you're going to make this happen some way, somehow. It's just extremely delicate for you, Taurus, and there's no question that you can do it, but it requires attention, long-term care and attention for this to happen, just like remodeling a piece of property. Okay, so that's kind of how I feel things here. I know it doesn't sound very romantic, but it is very solid, grounded, and earthy. And my feeling here is that with the little Three of Pentacles at the beginning, you can do this. You can certainly do this. It just takes planning, thought, care, and attention between all parties involved. No harm intended, no love lost. It's just that it's going to be a profound change. Profound change is happening here. Where love gets the chance to flourish for true in this situation here, this lifetime here, walking away from all the battles and conflicts and the things that essentially are crippling for you. You don't need the wars anymore, and coming back into harmony, coming out of the wars. It's just literally like what soldiers do. And at the end of war, they think, wow, this is fantastic. I got my soldier's retirement. I've got this little old place. Let's remodel it. I don't want to bulldoze it. I don't want to go buy something new. I love this home. I love what we've got. Let's do a complete remodel very, very carefully, okay? And use that analogy and structure of the relationship. Love breeds love. You've got something very, very beautiful here, Taurus. I'm very happy for you. And it just needs to be, just need to be very careful, okay? All right, bye-bye. Thanks for visiting. Oh, hold on. I just want to leave this here for you so you can reinterpret however you want. Bye-bye.